Open the box and remove the printer. Remove the inks and items from the accessory box. Place the printer on a sturdy, flat, level surface. Open the top cover and remove the 2 yellow tie wraps and foam block. This must be done before powering on the printer. Install the ink drip tray by opening the ink door and release the latch to raise the clamshell. Insert the tabs on the ink drip tray into the frame slots as shown. Close the clamshell. Plug in the AC power cord and turn on the printer. To power on the printer, turn on the main power switch on the back of the printer and then press the power button on the right side of the front touch panel. The printer will boot up and the front touch panel will display the system status. It will show missing printhead and missing inks. Proceed with the printhead and ink installation. Lift the blue printhead latch. If it is not released, do not force it open, as this can damage the latch. Remove the blue caps. If the printhead latch is not released, go to the touchscreen front panel, press Menu, and select Service. From there, select Release Printhead. If the printer has not been deprimed, Release Printhead will not be available. Select System Deprime. The printhead latch should now be released. Inspect the contacts on the printhead circuit board, making sure none of the contacts are dirty or damaged. If installing a new printhead, follow the instructions in the manual, removing the printhead from its packaging and removing the protective tape. Insert the printhead at an angle, aligning it with the slots in the printer. Once seated, gently tilt the printhead back until it snaps into position. Close the blue printhead latch. Next, close the top cover. Open the ink door. This will disengage the ink door switch and allow for safe insertion and removal of ink cartridges. Bypassing this switch can lead to issues reading the cartridges correctly. Lift each ink door latch. Insert the individual ink cartridges into the appropriate slot. These are keyed so the ink door latch cannot be closed if the cartridge is installed in the incorrect slot. Close each ink door latch. Once the ink cartridges are installed, close the ink door. If the ink cartridges are recognized, the ink level will show on the touch panel. Press the Clear Error button on the display. Ink circulation will begin. If a cartridge is not recognized, open the ink door latch, remove and reinsert the cartridge. If a cartridge is not recognized, open the ink door latch and remove that cartridge. Check the ink level prism and QA chip for any debris or ink and clean if necessary. Make sure the correct printer ink cartridge is used. The label on the ink cartridge will state which printer it is for. L901 standard inks will not work in the L901 Plus printer and vice versa. Unwinder setup. If you're using the L901 on a system that has a built-in unwinder, you can skip this section of the video. First, unpack the unwinder from its box. In the box, you will find an alignment plate. There will be holes marked for the different machines the plate supports. These holes correspond with the feet on the printer. Slide the plate under the L901, lifting up the printer slightly, and align the feet with the 901 holes on the plate. Next, remove the unwinder mandrel and install the outer disc guide plate to the end of the mandrel. The disc guide plate slides over the mandrel and is secured by 4 screws. After installing the guide plate, set the mandrel back on the unwinder and place the unwinder up against the alignment plate. 2 screws are used to secure the unwinder to the alignment plate. Install them, but don't tighten them, as you will need to align the unwinder with the printer. To install media, remove the mandrel from the unwinder. Loosen the knob on the end of the mandrel and remove the end cap if in place. Load the roll of media onto the mandrel. The material should unwind with the face stock out. Install the end cap and tighten the knob. Insert the mandrel onto the unwinder. Make sure that each side is fully seated, as shown in the inserts. If the end will not fully seat, rotate until it seats properly. With the unwinder turned off, raise the input forwarding wheel assembly. Move the media into the printer, aligning it with the back fixed media guide and 2 guide pins. Move the adjustable guide up against the other side of the media. Lower the forwarding wheel assembly until it locks into place and power on the unwinder. Once you've loaded the media, adjust the unwinder position so that the media is moving straight into the printer. Then tighten the position screws. Rewinder setup. If you're using the L901 with an inline process such as a digital press, you can skip this section of the video. First, unpack the rewinder. In the box you will find an alignment plate. There will be holes marked for the different printers the plate supports. These holes correspond with the feet on the printer. Slide the plate under the L901, lifting the printer slightly, and align the feet with the 901 holes in the plate. Next, remove the rewinder mandrel and install the outer disc guide plate to the end of the mandrel. The guide plate slides over the mandrel and is secured with 4 screws. After installing the guide plate on the mandrel, seat it on the rewinder. Place the rewinder up against the alignment plate. 2 screws are used to secure the rewinder to the alignment plate. Install them, but don't tighten them, as you will need to align the rewinder to the printer. With the media in the printer, go to the front touch panel, select Menu, Paper Path, and then Load. This will move the media into the correct starting position. With the media loaded, a print job can now be sent to the printer, and when there's enough material out of the printer, the print job can be paused and the material loaded onto the rewinder. Media can also be manually fed through the printer and loaded onto the rewinder. The next section describes this process. With media loaded and the unwinder powered on, press the menu button on the touch panel display and select Paper Path. Press the forward arrow button. Media will slowly start feeding through the printer. Do not press the double arrow button until media is through the printer on the right side. Once enough media is through the printer, press the Stop button on the touch panel. Once the material is fed through the printer, thread the material per the diagram on the side of the rewinder. Under the first roller, over the second roller, under the dancer bar, over the fixed bar, under the adjustable bar, and then onto the empty core. The adjustable bar on the rewinder is used to control the tightness of the finished roll. For wider media, lower the bar. For narrow media, set the bar to a higher position. Leaving the bar lower with narrow media can cause the media to slip in the printer when the print job is paused or during mid-job service. Once you've loaded the media, adjust the rewinder position so the media rewinds onto the mandrel evenly. Then tighten the position screws.